communicate back and put them in a situation where they're not feeling really comfortable. So, so I'm just
I
waiting
feel
for him.
exactly the same way. I understand.
Yeah. So, but just knowing that he's in God's hands and
Uh-huh.
well cared for, perfectly cared for, and we'll see him when he comes back. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. All right. Iris, honey, would you like to pray us in?
Good morning, Lynn. Yeah, I'm going to pray us in. I am here only to be truly helpful. I am here to represent Him who sent me. I do not have to worry about what to say or what to do, because He who sent me will direct me. I am content to be wherever He wishes, knowing He goes there with me. I will be healed as I let Him teach me to heal. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Iris. So let us go to
Amen.
get
Amen.
such a beautiful, beautiful day. So we are in the function of the miracle worker, and I think we're getting into the special principles. Let me see. I'll just
Where are we? Paragraph 7.
okay. All right.
Paragraph 7, yeah. Function of the miracle worker and paragraph 7. Or we could do like paragraph 6 as well.
Let's do 6 and then 7.
Yeah.
Okay. So who would like to read paragraph 6?
I'll read.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Paragraph 6. It should be emphasized again that the body does not learn any more than it creates. As a learning device, it merely follows the learner. But if it is falsely endowed with self-initiative, it becomes a serious obstruction to the very learning it should facilitate. Only the mind is capable of illumination. Spirit is already illuminated, and the body itself is too dense. The mind, however, can bring its illumination to the body by recognizing that it is not the learner and is therefore unamenable to learning. The body is, however, easily brought into alignment with a mind that has learned to look beyond it, toward the light. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, not sure I've got the correct words, but I get the gist of this, which is like the spirit as we are is already illuminated, and the mind with a small m, the mind is uh, the learner. The mind is the learner, or I think I'm getting confused. Yeah, like the mind is the learner. No, the mind is not the learner. The decision maker is the learner. And the decision maker chooses between God or the ego. And the mind and the decision maker may be the same thing. But spirit is already illuminated. So spirit doesn't need to do anything. It already is spirit. And the decision maker or the mind is the one that is choosing. The decision maker is the one that is choosing to choose God or to choose ego. So at any point, I'm holding hands with God or the ego. And the body itself doesn't do anything because the body is too dense. So it's like a vehicle, like a car. Like a car doesn't do anything. It just goes wherever the driver wants it to go. And that's kind of what I get from this, and handing back to Lynn.
Thank you, Iris. Yeah, that was, yeah, really well followed along there. And yeah, I love the idea of the body being like the car. It doesn't go by itself. And even if you have a self-driving car, it's not really driving itself. There's a mind behind it. There's a mind of, the person whoever's, making it go wherever it's going. So the body itself is not capable of making any decisions. And when we're talking about the body, it's not just the physical arms, legs, body itself, but it's every other part of the dream and the illusion as well. It all is just like a paperweight or something. It's just there to hold thing. It has no life of its own. And we're the only thing that gives it any meaning or any life. Rafi has his hand up. Please go ahead, Rafi.
Yeah, a couple of things. Interesting that she used the car analogy because Les Levinson used to say it's a car case or a carcass. The carcass is a car case. It's like a car. Um, it's a vehicle, but it can, like everything else in this dream world, it's working toward our ultimate good if we see it correctly. And it is a tool to help us get clearer as to what our main and only purpose is, of course, which is self-realization or transcendence, or however you describe it for yourself. But if there's something going on in your body, it's a tool saying you have to pay attention. There's something in your mind that needs to be corrected. And since we're not the body and we're not the mind, we can stand back and it was described very well. We stand back and take a look at it, to discriminate it, to discern. It says, okay, hang on, let me take a look at this from an objective point of view, from the witnessing point of view. Okay, the body is telling me that there's something going on inside to me that needs to be corrected. And the body's going, beep, 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 pay attention. This hurts. That's broken. This needs to be fixed. You're sneezing, hello, whatever it is. And you go inside and find out what that is, examine the thinking and correct it. Release whatever that negative little knot is that the mind has, and thank the body for showing me what was wrong that needed to be fixed, and fix it. And what happens in the body either goes away or stays, doesn't matter because we're not the body. And as long as we can see it from that distance, that it's just a projected thought image or an action figure or a bobblehead doll, however you want to call it. it's there to serve like everything else. And nice that we're not it.
Yeah, thank you, Rafi. Absolutely, it is, such I'm so relieved that we're not it, that that's not what we are. And you just reminded me of, I was listening to Jerry Jampolsky recording yesterday, and he was talking about a client that he had who just all of a sudden uh, they were perfectly healthy, and then all of a sudden they went into, like, they had a gallbladder attack, and their gallbladder it became very painful, and they're hospitalized, and it was just such a surprise because they hadn't had any problems with that before. So he was talking with this woman, and about what was going on, and she, began to describe to him a situation that was happening at her work, in which she had once at one point been very much the leader or in control, but that something had, they had hired someone, or somebody had come into their work that was that she felt threatened by, and that she was not, she was experiencing a lack of control, and really upset about it. And as he worked with her, and as they worked through her thoughts about what was going on, and she began to realize how angry she was. It didn't even occur to her that she was angry. She just, felt like she was being, abused, and, she had all these feelings, but she didn't really equate it with anger. And when she began to look at the anger, the pain went away. And she had been in excruciating pain. But when she began to look at it and recognize that, the shift that had happened in her life when this new person came in, that had caused, that she had become so angry about, was really the cause of the pain. And, I don't know if she went ahead and had her gallbladder taken out. But, it can manifest physically in your body. Um, and so, and it's because of the mind. The mind is putting um whatever it thinks it is onto the vessel that it uses. And if the body is solely a learning device and for no other thing, then the once you know that, you can actually start looking at, what is my body telling me about my situation. I think I talked about this a while ago, my terrible problem with allergies, and how I was just, like this time of the year, I'm just miserable because of allergies. Do I sound right now like I'm having terrible allergies? Yes, I do have some stuff going on, but not as it was before. And I think I talked with this group about it came as an active decision of looking at myself and looking at, what I was doing to myself that was making me so um, unhappy with my surroundings, that in my mind I was being attacked by it. I was being attacked by, the cat dander and the Mercury in retrograde and all the different things. But it was all in my own mind, my own thinking. And once I shifted from thinking that way, yes, it does come back up. And yes, I do have to stop and recognize, oh, here it is again. Here I think I'm having asthma. Here I think I'm I think I have pneumonia. I think I have, all these fearful thoughts come into my mind about my body. And, I have to recognize, this is a learning device. So what is it teaching me? What am I learning from it? And let go of those thoughts, and I am much healthier. Iris, in fact, last night I went and spent it's the evening at taking babysitting with my grandchildren, who are 3, 6, and 10. So, and very active little children. And usually if I had done that and I didn't get home till, midnight, I didn't get to bed till like 2 o'clock in the morning, I would have been miserable today. I would have been aching. I can't get out of bed. This is so hard. No, I feel great. I feel more energized than I have in a very long time. And I know that it's because this mind, looking at what is this thing teaching me, rather than, oh, poor me. Iris, please go ahead.
Thank you, Lynn. I love this subject. Yeah, I've noticed it as well. It's so true. I notice it as well. Like whenever I'm feeling out of sorts or upset with something or anything, I get a backache, like really bad backache, and like many other things. But I definitely get like a real big pain in my back, and but like when these I wanted to say again, thank you, Rafi, for the awareness about the release method, the release technique. And it's like I've been doing it all week, this week and today and last week, like ever since I've discovered it, quote. And it's like uh before I'm doing it, I can feel it in my body, like there's something that's bugging me really badly, and like something is bothering me. I can feel it in my body, like whatever it is that my mind is thinking. Like, and when I do the release method, whatever it is, just like go into that energy and just release it and let go. Like there's nothing to do, like just let go. And it doesn't matter if it's like right or wrong or what, something should be different or whatever, like just let go. And the other thing is like agree with the situation, like somehow like just agree with it, like not struggle so much with the situation, like just agree that this situation is fine, like just give it my approval, this situation is fine, even if it's not, but it's fine because it's happening. And when I do that, like I could feel kind of like just like some release happening in my chest, like just kind of like I can breathe properly. And like the backache goes away, like the backache goes away, and then I get upset again and the backache comes back. And then I do it again. And so yeah, like exactly, Lynn, everything you said is like totally I've noticed it, totally agree. Like it's very interesting how like everything is so connected with each other. And I wouldn't be surprised if if we let go of all the stuff that bugs us, like I'm pretty sure like everything would be totally fine, like the blood would flow fine, the blood pressure would be okay, everything would be okay. But it's like the emotions, I think they get trapped somehow in our body, and it's all coming from the way that we are thinking. And I see only the past, and like it's all seems to be connected in some way. And handing back to Lynn.
Thank you, Iris. Yes, it's all that connection. And so now when you start feeling that backache, instead of saying, oh, my back is hurting because I need to lay down or take some Tylenol or something, think, what is breaking my back? What is it that is that, something that happened at my work that I feel is backbreaking, or, whatever, however you want to look at it. I saw McKaylee had her hand up, and I see Devin has his hand up. McKaylee, did you still want to say something?
Yes, sorry, I took it down, but I really love Lynn and what you said to Iris, but I really love how you talked about the allergies and that it's kind of it was a projection of being attacked. And I was just kind of wondering if you could go more into that, because I have so many patients that have allergies. Almost everybody does. And if you could just elaborate a little on that. Of course, I can't say that to my patients, but it'll just help me more to get a correct perception with them, please. Thank you.
Sure. And actually, I'm going to let Devin speak first, and let's hear what Devin has to say, and then I will address that. Thank you. Go ahead, Devin. Hi, Maya. Beautiful baby girl.
Talking a lot. You say hi.
Hi, baby.
Hey, somebody saying hi to you.
What a sweetie. Here, I'll put my camera on. Probably scared to death, but here I am. Hi, baby.
Hi up there. See?
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Oh, in this magical box thing. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. I love how this section, which we did read last time as well, that the spirit is essentially cannot learn, and using the term illuminated as in the sense of, yes, conceptually, when we say illuminated, it means that we know something or we have the knowledge of, and considering this as talking about learning and following the learner, which I would agree with Iris about it being the chooser. I call the perceiver, which is the Son of God. But the actual occurrence of what we are doing and learning, and that the holy spiritual universe is quite literally the other aspect, say the totality of God in an energetic essence format of it. So when we're talking about the body and these different things and how they manifest, what we're doing, we're holding these belief systems, these ideas. The perceiver is insisting that they are true. They still believe them as having some validity. And so such things like, why can't I think of the word, allergies, as well as pains and things, are manifest from in this, say, spiritual reality, which sounds contradictory, but then into physical format. So the mind that believes in separation makes it physical. In what I mean is that quite literally, when you are judging it, and which is quite in the capability of seeing opposites, you can only judge things when you see them as different. So you make judgments of things or discern between things, and therefore you are thinking in the perspective that makes separation. And so it's a beautiful thing, and that's how all you're all talking about, even just coming to recognize that it's just fine, that is beautiful, coming to a neutrality, which means I no longer look at this with the eyes of judgment. So in other words, my definition of forgiveness is surrendering the ability to discern differences, which means you're letting go of trying to see differences in anything. And so when you are completely just neutral in that sense of what becomes manifest in physical pain and allergies, then it won't be there anymore. It won't be present. The only way it's present is because you judge it as something different. You're like, oh, I have a pain, which is different than when I don't have a pain. Or I'm experiencing allergies, which is different when I'm not having allergies. So, of course, it can manifest in several different ways where you can have that pain and be neutral about it, or you don't have that pain and be neutral about it. The wonderful thing is you can't tell the difference between the two. It doesn't matter if you have the pain or not. So I find it absolutely fascinating when we really are experiencing the complete just I would say going with the flow about everything in life. You're just really doing, just being the doing, and just allowing yourself to keep going without insisting, oh no, I have to do this or I have to do that. Whenever I get, oh, I have to do this and have to do that, and figure it out what's best to do and what's worse to do, and why I'm in pain when I'm doing these things, and I'm trying to protect myself from pain. But the wonderful thing is that when it was saying that the spirit is already illuminated and the body in itself is too dense, the mind, however, can bring illumination to the body. We're talking about the light of the holy spiritual universe that can literally make your body radiant. And so when you're bringing, the mind recognizes the non-duality of what you're actually perceiving, then it can manifest through your pain, your suffering, in that sense of illuminating the truth about yourself. So there's so much I could talk about for hours on that, but I'm not going to get into it too much more. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Devin. And really, it's just a very simple thing. I mean, we can look into how it, the way that it manifests and the different ways that seem to be causes. I think the cause of this is this, and I mean, I've often sat and I mean, I wonder about so many things. And I see Rafi has his hand up. I'll let you have the mic here in a second, but something that has always mystified me, and I think, to be honest, it mystifies everybody. I don't think there's anybody who really understands why I could have a headache, I could take a Tylenol and the headache would go away. When the Tylenol itself doesn't go, it goes into my stomach, it goes throughout my whole body. Does it stop the ache in my finger? Does it stop, or does it just go to the headache? Nobody really knows how these things work. This is all coincidental that we discover, oh, if we take this, this'll change this. And who's to say that that's really what's happening at all? It's not, it's a belief, because we can also believe that it's not going to help us and it won't help us. I mean, many examples of that. And so, it's like saying I go on a diet, every day and I don't lose any weight. Well, that's because the reason I'm fat doesn't have anything really to do with what I'm eating, because other people eat way more than I do and they're skinny. So there's the cause is not what we attribute the cause to be. And so to really look at what is the real cause of this, that is how we bring illumination to the body. That's how we bring about this illumination to the body by looking for what's the real cause of all of it. And the real cause of the body itself. Rafi, please go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to give a perfect example that occurs every once in a while. I have a releasing partner, and she and I release together every day. And a couple of times, more than a couple of times, she has said, I said, how's it going today? And she said, well, I had tremendous amount of fatigue. I'm just so tired, so tired, so tired. And we discovered that the source of her tired was resistance. So every time now, it's because there's something coming up, and she needs an excuse not to do it. I'm too tired to do it. So she went inside, saw that the tired was being caused by resistance, welcomed the resistance, said yes to it, loved it, brought it up, let the resistance go, and all of a sudden that resistance that was holding down all that energy that was making it tired, it all vanished, it all disappeared, it was all released, and no more fatigue, no more tired. And you just say, well, you can't take anybody's word for anything. You got to prove it for yourself. Well, prove it. Oh, it gets proven over and over again. It happens to me every once in a while. I get a pain like in my side, and I say, okay, what is this telling me? that there's something going on. You don't want to do this, or you don't like that. Find at it, whatever it is, welcome it, bring it up, release it. All of a sudden, no more pain. Thank you, body, for showing me what was going on. Even though I'm not my body, I still love it. And even though I'm not my mind, I still love it. Thank you for showing me my way to freedom, self-realization, transcendence, because that's what all of this is for. You said, what's it for? That's what it's for. And what you said about pills and medicine was so right on the money. Wow, that was great. I really had a smile. I thought, boy, she really nailed that. Thank you.
Uh, yeah, thank you, Rafi. It is so funny to me because, my partner is like really believing in all these pills, and there's some pills that I take because the doctor said, I've got high blood pressure, I've got this, I got that. So, Sandy, she's like she puts together all these packets with all these different things, and every day I take like a handful of these pills, and I'm like, how do these guys know where to go? How do they know where to go and what to do? This is amazing to me. Of course, they don't. It is my own belief in them doing that. Devin said something really interesting in the chat, and I think that if you want to talk about that or whatever you want to talk about, Devin, go ahead. I won't read what you posted.
Okay.
But
Yeah. I like that you look at your pills and ask them how they wonder where to go. I don't think they're worried about where to go or what to do or what to say. They just represent the one who sent them. I guess that would be you putting them in there, right? Yeah. What did I say in the chat? Something
it's
interesting.
about motivation.
Oh, yes. Well, I mean, in that sense, there's how many people have you met from going to the hospital? Excuse me. Or different things, going to get prescriptions or something, and you have an encounter at the pharmacy or something like that. There's different reasons for different things, and yeah, we can see, oh, this pain is terrible, so yes, I must fix it. But really, I just haven't been following the guidance to go hang out at a pharmacy for no reason at all. So I need a reason to go hang out at a pharmacy to meet these people that I wouldn't meet if I didn't have this pain, because I some reason didn't find any reason to be there. So that there are, of course, different reasons for things that we put in place and establish for those different purposes. The biggest thing I wanted to say was about this illumination, that we can say that we can interchangeably define it with love, and that really love is all there is. And going back to that introduction of A Course in Miracles, that what we're working on is attempting to remove the blocks to the awareness of love's presence. And many of us would say that a pain or suffering or some sort of allergy is some evidence of a block to the awareness of love's presence. So this is quite literally meaning that your pain is love misunderstood. Your allergy is love misunderstood. That you're not actually feeling pain. You're distorting love into pain. And really, if we get in the habit of, oh, the whole thing is just an illusion, it's like, no, we don't have to jump to that. We can recognize why it's an illusion, and not just processing it. Yes, we can get into details about connecting this idea to that pain and this thing and that, which is beautiful for the release process and everything. But in the sense of just realizing that everything is the love of God, and it's always communicating with you. And so in that, when you make it physical, you're putting it through these, even as Dove said in the thing, thinking is resistance, and you're applying different resistances. Even in the scientific term, like light through a prism applies resistance to the light, the white light, and makes the rainbow. And we find the loveliness of the rainbow, and that essentially is energy. I'm a dad.
Resistance is futile, girl.
And well, so if we recognize this and we use this, we can learn how to say deprocess, unprogram our minds, our resistances to thinking that we know what we're feeling, and recognize that it actually is love. It actually is God. The truth beyond the illusion, the world beyond this one is the world I really want. And I can find it through, say, deprogramming my insistence of definitions. Am I really feeling a body? If am I really feeling a back pain if I don't have a body? What am I really feeling, and what is really there? Well, it's always the love of God. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And wow, what a great representation of that. So it's love, and it's our, what is it? It's our resistance to love that causes the pain. It's our resistance that causes the pain. And so, when we stop resisting, and of course, maybe taking a pill puts in our mind, all right, this is, I'm not, I'm, not resisting it anymore. I'm not concentrating it on anymore. I'm leaving it up to this thing to fix it for me. And so I stop resisting. But it's the same thing. I talked about at one point, I think I've told the story about the last time I had a migraine headache, and that I had had migraines regularly for years, and they were not just little, they were pretty serious, where I had to lay in bed with, in the dark with the ice pack on my head, and just it was before they had all these drugs now that they have for migraine. But I had those migraine headaches so bad, and uh, I was at a workshop, and we were staying at these people's house, and I was a roommate with Jennifer Nahulu, my partner there, and I woke up one morning, and I before I woke up I knew I had a migraine. I woke up and I had a migraine. And I was like, oh my God, here I'm having a migraine. They have all these things planned for the day. We were going to do all this stuff. And I just cannot I'm not going to be able to get out of bed. I'm going to have to maybe have Jen go down and ask, our host, do you guys have any medicine, hot Tylenol or something like that? I just was like, how am I going to tell them I'm not going to be able to participate? I had all these stories going on in my head, and it just came to me, Lynn, how long am I going to tell this story? How long are you going to tell this story? And I realized that not 1 minute more. I'm not going to tell this story anymore. This is it. I'm done. And when I made that decision, that headache went away. And I didn't even have, usually after you have a migraine, maybe for even a day or two, you have this other feeling of like, I call it the ghost of the headache, the ghost of the headache still there. I didn't have that. I didn't have nothing. And I have not had a migraine since. I don't think I've had a headache ever since then. I mean, seriously, I don't believe I've even had a headache since that time. And that's many years ago. So that in itself says, I'm not telling, if you have an ache and pain and you're really seriously having problems, I'm not saying it's all in your head. I'm saying, what's the purpose? And that was what I was asking. What is the purpose of me having this headache right now? And really, the purpose of me having that headache right now was resistance. It really was me, saying, I can't go and have fun with these people. I'm not, it was it was amazing. Raina was at that workshop too. She really helped me out a lot too, because she's the first one that I learned about choose again from. And she did a workshop on the choose again process at that time. So, lots of stuff happened that I would not have been accessing if I had been laying in bed with a headache. And so, that's how resistance can debilitate you to the point where you're not able to do the things that your body is here to do, to be a learning uh, mechanism. So anyway, enough of that. And I forget what I was going to address that Michaela was asking about. Maybe it was that same thing. Um, but yeah, it's that of ask of all things, what is it for? And I thought it said it in this, but it's in another section, maybe in the Song of Prayer, that it says, you can't, a person can't be healed until they know the purpose of their sickness. Yeah,
Yeah, it's in the Manual for Teachers, section 5.
yeah. Thank you, Dove. And so yeah, so once you know the reason, why am I having allergies? That was Michaela's question. Why am I having allergies? And it comes from a childhood where I was I was traumatized, and I associated uh, the things of the world. I had a cat. I found a kitten, and I was carrying it around inside my coat, and it had diarrhea inside of my coat and all over me when I was like about 4 years old. And after that, I was allergic to cats. I had not been allergic, but I had a terrible asthma attack, and it was because of an allergic reaction to the cat. Well, now I know is because, I was traumatized by that whole business with the cat. And then my mother made me give it, she's like, you can't keep that thing. And, I had to take it back where I got it from. And I was really upset about that. So, I associate this whole thing with being allergic to cats. Now, that's speculation. I don't know for sure, but I do know that, once I start looking at it that way and realizing there's a purpose to this, and the whole purpose of the ego in this case is to bring about fear and keep me in a fearful state of mind. So when I see it's spring and the trees are blooming, I get in a fearful state of mind because I'm allergic to the trees. I'm allergic to the grass. I'm allergic to the animals. I'm allergic to everything in the world, and I went and had those tests where they poke you with all the things, and man, they said you were just like all over the chart here, everything, you're allergic to everything. And that was to me a symbol of, not at the time. At the time, I was like, well, I'm in bad shape. But now I recognize it's a symbol of resistance, resisting the world, resisting, the things that, instead of loving and accepting them, I'm, I want to be saved from them. So, and the more I look at that, the more I uh, become less allergic, and it gives me a happier life. And so anyway, those are my thoughts about that. Um, Anybody else have any thoughts before we move on, or any questions? I mean, it's tragic if you are allergic to something that you love, and that's what happens. People really love something and they get angry. I think it really is. You get angry with the world and you want revenge for the things that you think are unfair, and you can't you can't hit back at the world, so you hurt yourself. We hurt ourselves on purpose because we think we don't deserve to be loved. We think we don't deserve to have joy because we think we're the home of evil, darkness, and sin. I don't know. I mean, I'm open for any thoughts anyone has. Devin, please go ahead.
It reminds me of the movie Fearless. Have you ever seen that, where the guy's allergic to strawberries? And then essentially the whole movie is him just going with everything, being completely fearless. And then when he takes on fear again, he takes a strawberry and he dies from it. So
Yeah, that's a great movie.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
What's her name? Rosie, what is her name? Who plays in that? So good. That's really a great movie you just reminded me of. So we'll have to watch that.
Lynn, are you gonna die in a big cat party, cuddle party of cats?
If I was gonna die in a cat, let me tell you what, I have so many cats. We have so
Oh,
many, I have
yeah.
7 cats that live here in my house. And I realized, I'm pissed off about those cats because they are not pleasant animals to live around. And it doesn't make my house smell real nice. But my daughter and my partner love the cats. So, and I'm like, you're choosing these cats over my health. And oh my gosh, what a victim. And plus we have probably 20 cats that live in the neighborhood that we feed and made little houses for. And, so, totally cat person. But I keep saying they make me sneeze, but honestly, I have one cat that just loves me and she comes up to me and she wants to be petted and loved. And, how can I resist that? And I'm like, you're going to make me sick, but I'm going to pet you anyway. What a sacrifice. My God, am I just such a martyr to the love of a cat? Anyway, Dove has his hand up and McKaylee has her hand up. So go ahead, Dove.
McKaylee, go ahead. I'll go next.
Okay, thank you, Deb. Hey, Lynn, I just wanted to say that, since life is a script and kind of a lot of metaphors, so I had shared a little bit of this on John Monday's class, and talking about allergies and your cats, because I have 2 cats and a little dog. Anyways, my vacuum cleaner broke and I had to take it in the shop, and it's a bagless one. So the guy, the repairman told me that the bagless vacuum cleaners clean the dust and the dirt, and but they don't go deep. So if you want to get the pet dander, you have to go back to kind of the old-fashioned vacuum cleaners. But now the bag that they have doesn't tear anymore. It's made, the ones with bags are made really well, and they collect all the allergens. So you get less of a reaction. So I took it, I thought about this because I looked when I went in the shop, I went in my mind, I said, this is a holy encounter, right? And then I asked Holy Spirit to help me look at this, perceive this correctly. And what it was is it was in my script, it was telling me that I need to take the Course in Miracles deeper, and that I've been cleaning my house with the bagless vacuum cleaner, but I haven't been going deep within and getting all the pet dander. And the only way I can do that is to purchase a vacuum cleaner like the old-fashioned ones with the bag in it. And the beautiful thing is now the repairman is going to be looking for a used vacuum cleaner for me for pet dander. And when he gets one in, he's going to give it to me at half price. So I'm definitely taking the Course in Miracles deeper now. Thank you. With the bag vacuum cleaner. Thank you.
Oh, I love that. Thank you, McKaylee. I'll have to look into one of those too. Dove, because that's what I have as a bagless also. Dove, go ahead.
That's pretty much what Jesus says. You gotta take this Course in Miracles deeper. That is why about the only disqualifier in the course, he says, this whole book can't do you any good at all. He said that on page 17 at the top of the page, Manual for Teachers. He says, unless you understand the purpose of why you want to be sick, you cannot be healed. Now, purpose is really everything in course language. Purpose is meaning. So if my purpose is to take the place of God, to usurp the throne, I'm going to kill myself before I let healing happen. So the purpose is seen in many places, like the last unanswered question in the text, chapter 21, section 7. That's the one that Marianne Williamson uses as a great saying. You know, your greatest fear is not that you're helpless. No, your greatest fear is that you're powerful beyond measure and you ain't living up to it. I mean, the Course uses the same quote in chapter 21. The first sentence is, uh, don't you see that all of your misery, pain, suffering, sickness comes from your strange belief that you, the Son of God, is powerless? So we choose to see ourselves as weak because we can say, well, I'm a victim here, you know, and somebody else is doing it to me, and God doesn't love me, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So until we turn that around and make healing our purpose without the the stinking thinking, which is our resistance, uh, you know, you can read this Course for years. It's not, he tells you, it's not going to do you any good.
Yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you, Dove. And that's it. You just, purpose is meaning. So, that's, I guess, of all things, ask what is this purpose? And, once you start asking the question, don't think you know the answer right off either, because, I could easily say, oh, it's, because of this, that, and the other thing. But obviously, if the only reason I was allergic to cats was because I had an incident with a cat at one point, then it'd be easy to just never pick up a cat or never have that happen to me again, and that should make it go away. But that's not, it doesn't make it go away. And so, it persists in my thinking because there's something else, and it always stems from anger, anger about, about your situation in the world, whatever. And so, learning to release that anger and to even recognize that you don't have to say, what am I mad about? Let's go back to the beginning, because you would go all the way back to the very beginning. I'm mad because, I made a decision that kicked me out of heaven and I lost all my perks. I'm mad because I'm living in a body that is um, helpless and will eventually die, just a home of death. I'm mad about a lot of stuff. And so you can't just go into it that way. You have to really look at, day to day. I'm mad because someone forgot to change the toilet paper roll, or I'm mad because, the my coffee maker broke, or I'm mad because there was too much noise last night and I couldn't sleep, or I mean, you have to look at all the thing every day, every moment why you're upset, not just, the tiny mad idea why I'm upset about that, but if I'm doing it right now. What am I resisting right now? Anyway, Rafi, please go ahead.
Yeah. Well, in releasing it, there's no method. They always say anger is a hanger. It hangs you up tremendously. Fortunately, you can take all of that anger and funnel it into the feeling of wanting control, and let that wanting control feeling go, and all the anger goes with it. Because that anger is not only a feeling of helplessness, frustration, it's also a wanting to kill. And but if you let go of the wanting control feeling, all of that goes. The other thing is what Deb was saying was so right on the money, because um, we are infinite beings. We have infinite power. And okay, if you have infinite power, why aren't you being the power that you are? Because your mind says, your ego mind says that if I am that, then I'm going to lose my identity as what I think I am. I'm going to lose my identity as this separate person. And what's going to happen to me? I'm going to die. Well, the body's going to die anyway. It's not even real. What are we talking about here? Um, but we're so inculcated and believe so much that belief that we are this individual person, and that if we access the divine power of being of God, that somehow this thing is going to disappear. This thing isn't going anywhere. It's not a thing. And even when you do become completely self-realized of that infinite power that we are, nothing else around you changes. The world will go on, the dream will go on the way it goes on. People continue to do things. There'll still be ball games. There'll still be picnics. There'll still be, couples arguing with it. All of that stuff is still going to go on. But you'll look at it and realize, A, I'm not it, and B, it's okay just the way it is. Leave it there. It's all there for lessons for everybody to learn. And I am this infinite power. That is the truth of our being. That is that God presence. But it's fascinating how for so long we believe that we are separate from it, that we'll use that power that we have to fight becoming the power that we are. Hello.
Oh my gosh, you're right, Rafi. How silly. That's just silly, 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 silly. Iris, please go ahead.
Thank you, Lynn. Oh, it's coming together really like interestingly. Like I just thought, yeah, like everything what Lynn, Dove, everybody shared, Rafi, and it's just coming together in my mind. Like it's that feeling of like it's quite possible, like whenever we are angry or sad or anything, it's coming from that feeling of powerlessness. And the powerlessness is like not knowing our true identity. I know that happens to me a lot. Like like sometimes I'll be knowing my true identity, like, and then everything will be fine. And then there are other times when it's like I feel completely powerless. And that's when I forget and I fall asleep. And which happens often, like a million times in a day. Like, and I begin to feel like powerless, and then I begin to feel upset, and etc. But like, and the other point, like, was thank you, Rafi, for saying that. Like, it's like that was a light bulb, and it's just like just let it be the way it is. Like, it has lessons for everyone. Like, let all things be exactly as they are. Like that lesson, like just let it be. I don't need to be like the policeman to correct everything, quote, as if like I know how to do anything. Like, just let it be. And just focus on my mind, focus on my mind, focus on like releasing or forgiving, or and like, and you know, when I was practicing that release method on things, like everything, like just continuing to do that, like it's that's forgiveness. It's the same thing. And like it's removing the blocks. And when everything is released slowly, slowly, fast, whatever, like everything is released, what is left? Like, we are not the body, we are not the mind. And like, what is left? And it makes sense. Like, it just all kind of fits in a puzzle. Like, it's not different, it's exactly the same thing, uh like with the goal of peace. And it really makes sense. And thank you. I just wanted to say thank you, and just allow everything to be as it is. And I'll hand back to Lynn.
You're muted, Lynn.
Oh yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I was trying to get back to my screen. I'm looking for the book for the next group that starts in half an hour. So, Michaeli, please go ahead.
Yeah, I love what Iris said, and I just heard a song in my head because she said, "Just let it be," and from the Beatles, "Speaking words of wisdom, let it be," and that just kept playing in my head, you know. And yeah, you just have to let go because it also has to do with control issue. And when we don't let go, then we want to be in control, and we're not being humble. And I also wanted to say that on what I had said earlier about taking the course deeper, at that time I kind of had a visual vision of Dr. Helen Schuckman, and when she had that dream of the old on the boat, the old sending and receiving machine. And what works for me is to journal. I really like journaling, which is an old-fashioned way, and Dr. Schuckman did the shorthand writing. So, you know, it might have just been a little vision for myself to go back, like the vacuum cleaner with the bag, to take it deeper and go back to your journaling, go back to doing what works for you in the old-fashioned ways, and let it be. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michaeli. And yeah, just take it back to let it be, let it be, let it be. And Rafi says in the text, can't wait and want and have control at the same time. Can't want and have control at the same time. If you want it, it seems like you don't have it because why would you want it? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop